Hi, I'm Madison and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my top 7 K-dramas and C-dramas of 2022. I am so excited to be filming this video because I feel like I consistently talk about K-dramas and C-dramas in all of my vlogs, and I have never made like an actual sit-down video regarding them, and I have been watching a crap ton this year, so I'm very excited to tell you about the best ones that I have watched. Some of these came out in 2022, some of these are older, so I'll give you a little bit of both, and without further ado, let's get into it. One of my favorite new dramas is going to have to be Falling Into Your Smile. This is a C-drama and it takes place with esports. So this is kind of set around like an esports game very similar to League of Legends, and she is one of the top players for a specific character in the entirety of China. She's like the #1 player for this character, and she ends up being recruited to actually join one of China's esports team called ZGDX. And so she is being brought on as the very first female esports player. One of her ex-boyfriends is actually on one of the other esports teams. This esports team that she joins, they are all very against her joining at the very beginning, and she doesn't really get along very well with the leader of ZGDX, and it ends up being her romance with the leader. I love this one so freaking much. It is so cute, so hilarious. I'm also a huge video game fan and I love esports, which is the reason why I think I love this one also so much, was because of that. What I also really like is you actually do get clips during this of the actual gameplay, and it kind of feels like it's like an anime almost, like it's all an animation of them playing within the game. I love C-dramas because the romance ends up actually being a lot stronger when it comes to them kissing. The kiss scenes are so much better than they are for a lot of other dramas. They don't feel like they're just kissing fishes, you know? And so their romance is so adorable. I love when it started up because it was like a little bit of a secret, because obviously like they didn't want their romance to be public because she didn't want to just be known as like the female esports player who then got with a guy. And it was absolutely hilarious. They're some of my favorite actors and actresses. The guy who plays the hero in this is the guy who plays the male lead is actually one of my favorite Chinese actors. He is so much fun. He's actually in a couple of other dramas that are out at the moment that I definitely plan on watching. And this just has like such great scenes. I highly recommend this. It is so funny. Do check it out. I'm going to keep in the same vein and actually recommend you guys You Are My Glory. This is another C-drama, and the beginning of this does also center around esports, but it changes very quickly. So this is a romance between an actress and her former classmate. Now the actress is super popular. She's actually the spokeswoman for a game that is, once again, very much like League of Legends. However, the problem is that she's like a bronze player. Like, she sucks. Like, she cannot play for shit, okay? And what ends up happening is a video gets leaked that shows that she actually can't play. And so she ends up having to enter a tournament to show that she can play, and so she can keep the sponsorship. So she ends up trying to find a way to get someone to tutor her in the game, and she ends up accidentally reconnecting with one of her former classmates online, who was actually a really amazing player of this game. And this guy is also someone that she had a major crush on when she was in high school, but the guy kind of rejected her and dated someone else. And so it's kind of a second chance romance for the two of them. He is currently on an extended leave from his current job as an aerospace engineer, and he agrees to tutor her, and they kind of fall in love. And the first couple of episodes, like the first half of this series, is, you know, about him teaching her the game and then playing and then falling in love. And then the second half of this is about them being in love and being in a relationship, and then the issues of long distance, because she is, you know, a actress who is doing all these amazing things and has to go film and do locations, and he is an aerospace engineer and he has to do top classified like missions, and, you know, has to be away for days on end, all this kind of stuff. And I really loved how the back half of this really focused on their actual relationship and what it was like for them to be a couple and the hardships they have to go through and all those kind of things. Like, I love this one so much. It is 100% one of my favorites, and I would definitely recommend this to everyone. Also, they're so attractive. I mean, also everyone in these are attractive, but he is really attractive. You too. Since we're on the topic of actors and actresses, I'm going to be talking to you guys about one of my favorite 2022 brand new K-dramas, and that is Shooting Star. So this follows this kind of girl who became friends during college and now are enemies. She is the current head PR leader at a talent agency, and he is one of Korea's biggest idols. He's like one of the biggest actors in Korea, and he obviously is an actor as part of her company, and so she is one of his managers. He tries to actively make her life a living hell because when she first joined joined the company, she made a mistake that humiliated him, and he has always vowed to get revenge on her since then to kind of make her life awful. And so this takes place when he has just come back from doing a kind of like service trip in Africa and is like getting back into work again, and it's the two of them eventually having their romance. It's mainly him realizing that he is in love with her and then her falling back in love with him. I love this one so much. It was so much fun. I loved the kind of snarkiness between them. I love the enemies to lovers aspect of it. It was also a really fun one because he, you know, thinks that he's hot shit and knows that he's at the top of everything, and he's consistently trying to impress her, and she's just not impressed by anything he does. He tries so hard to win her over. Oh my god, it is so funny. Now, since we were talking about that one, there was actually a cameo in You Are My Shooting Star of a couple from a different K-drama. There was like a crossover in this, and when I saw the crossover, I was instantly like, oh, well, what is this other K-drama? Like, I have to watch it. And the other K-drama ended up being Find Me in Your Memory. And this became one of my favorites that I watched this year. I cried while watching this K-drama like a little child. I beloved. This one got me right in the feels. Oh my god, I was so sad. I also cried while watching You Are My Glory, but I really cried while watching Find Me in Your Memory. So this follows a woman who is one of the top actresses in Korea, but she has no memory of like some of her past. And then one day she goes to go do this interview with a news outlet, and she meets this man. And this news anchor actually has hypothermesia, so he actually remembers everything. He is unable to forget anything. And they end up actually continually crossing paths as like the days keep going on, and they kind of start to form a friendship that eventually does turn into a relationship. It turns out that he realizes that the memories that she is missing are of her best friend, and that this best friend that she no longer remembers is actually his dead ex-girlfriend. And it was just so beautiful. It was so amazing. This just hits you in so many different ways, and I can't speak more to it than that. You just need to watch this to kind of experience what a profound impact it will have on you. Next, we have one that I just recently binged, and it is actually a web drama. Now, I didn't know that web dramas were a thing. I just recently learned about them, and so web dramas, I guess, are made a bit differently. I don't know exactly what they are, but they are much shorter episodes. So the average K-drama episode is between 45 minutes to sometimes an hour and 20 minutes. Now, funnily enough, I'm the kind of person who refuses to watch movies alone because I'm like, they're too long. Why would I sit there and watch an entire movie by myself? And then watches an hour and 20 long K-drama episodes. Regardless, web dramas tend to be around about 17 to 24 minutes long. So they're super short, which I know that's like 24 minutes is like an average TV episode, but it feels so weird to watch it when you're so used to long episodes. So I binged this drama. I binged this web drama in a night. It was so bad. That is going to be Semantic Era. Now, this was my very, very first BL drama as well, and I loved it. I'm so glad this is my first one because it was freaking amazing. The music in this, the soundtrack for this, well, the soundtrack for all of these were amazing. I have saved a lot of the songs from a lot of these soundtracks. Falling Into Your Smile, I saved the soundtrack to that because they literally had the coolest like League of Legends-esque songs. And then the soundtrack for You Are My Glory has some really cute songs in it. But Semantic Era literally has the dopest bops ever, and like they're all like just instrumental solely, so I just like to listen to them while I'm doing work and stuff because they just sit there in the background, and I literally smile. I smile like an idiot when I hear them come on because this drama made me so freaking happy. So you're following these two guys and they both go to university together. You got one guy who's a comp sci major, one guy who's a design major. Now the comp sci major, he ends up for a group project that he's on. All of his, all the other people on his team end up giving excuses as to why they can't do the group project. So he says, screw you. I'm just going to present the group project on my own, and I'm going to tell everyone that you guys did nothing and I'm taking you off it so you guys don't get any credit. Of course, the design major dude was one of the guys who was on that project, and because the comp sci dude ends up, telling everyone that he didn't do it, design dude gets a 0 for that grade and ends up failing the class. So he becomes determined to try and track down the comp sci guy, but has no idea what he looks like. He gets a design request to be the designer for this guy who's looking for someone to create a video game with him. He ends up figuring out that the guy who's putting in this request is actually the guy who is the comp sci major. So he goes to go confront the comp sci major and be like, you were a dick to me, you did all this stuff, and surprise, now you need my help. And then the comp sci guy is like, I actually don't want your help anymore, I take it back, goodbye, and tries to leave. But now that the design dude knows who the comp sci dude is, he decides to make his life a living hell for the whole next semester. So he makes his entire life mission to basically enroll in all of his classes. He moves next door to him. He buys all of his favorite coffee. He does everything to literally make this guy's life so annoying, and they fall in love over the process. It is so good, so amazing. I love it so much. Please, please, please watch it, because it's only like 8 episodes and they're like 17 to 20 minutes long. 10 out of 10 recommend. It is so freaking good. I loved it to death. Okay, we have another 2022 K-drama, and that is going to be A Business Proposal. Of course, I had to put this one on here. How could I not? A Business Proposal, I adored the manhwa of this, so I was really excited that it got an adaptation. A Business Proposal follows Hari. Now, she has a best friend who is an heiress, and her best friend heiress is consistently getting sent on blind dates because, you know, she has to get married. So she keeps sending Hari on her dates instead in her place, and has Hari kind of act like a menace so all the guys get terrified and like don't give marriage proposals. So Hari ends up going on this blind date with this guy who's like a mega like Fortune 500 like CEO billionaire. And she goes and she's like, okay, this time around I'm gonna act like a complete like femme fatale, like I'm gonna act like a vixen, like he's not gonna want someone who's so like sexual, except for the fact the guy has been getting sent up on blind dates by his grandfather so often that he has decided, whoever I meet tonight, I'm just gonna marry and just like let it be like a marriage that I just ignore just so I can get my grandfather off my back. And of course that is when Hari is there. And so he decides to propose, and she's like, oh my god, like this cannot happen. So she tries to avoid him, tries to get rid of him. He finds out that she was pretending to be the heiress, and he is like, you know what, I don't even care that you were pretending to be the heiress. If the heiress paid you to be her, can I pay you to be my fake fiance? And she goes, no, you can't do that. And he goes, are you sure? I'm gonna offer you like 800,000 yen. And she goes, oh, yes, I will be your fake fiance for that much money. The only problem is that he doesn't know that she's actually secretly one of the employees at his company as well. So she's like living out like 3 different identities at this point. It is so much fun. I love it so freaking much. And this is one where I also really do enjoy the secondary leads romances as well. So her best friend and his assistant also have a romance together. And it is such a good one. It has such an iconic like eyeglasses kiss scene. When I tell you, it is one of the sexiest kiss scenes you will ever see in your entire life. Like, it is so rom-com worthy. You could watch it as a GIF again and again and again. It is A+ territory. So this one, very good. It's a really great beginner K-drama as well, I would say. And then last but not least, I have one that I haven't actually finished yet. I've still got 6 episodes left to watch before the end of the year. But I'm putting it on this list because I already know that it is one of my favorites. I have binged it so much over the last couple of days. I have actually gotten chills while watching this K-drama. It has shaped me like no other, and I'm absolutely and utterly obsessed with it. I have no idea where it's going to go. I hope it doesn't break my heart, and that is While You Were Sleeping. If you know this, you know this. Now, this is going to be hard to explain. So you find this girl who is a reporter, and she has, since she was a little girl, had premonition dreams. She has dreams of people dying, and those people actually do die in real life, and she's never ever been able to actually stop any of those dreams from happening. They always come true, until one day she meets her new across the street neighbor, and she has a dream of them hugging. She goes, that's weird. She goes, I have a boyfriend, I don't know why I'm hugging this man. She goes, I don't want anything to do with him. So she tries to avoid him, except for the fact that this guy, the second he meets her, has a dream of her that night, and he has a dream of her dying. He's like, oh, that's really weird, like I don't know why I dreamed of her dying, like it felt so real, whatever. Until he begins to realize that the dream is actually happening in real life. All the things that he saw happening are actually happening today. And so he decides that he's going to find a way to prevent that dream from happening, to prevent it from coming true. And so he decides to stop that hit and run from happening. And when he does do that, he actually ends up saving the guy who was supposed to die from the hit and run. And the guy who was supposed to die from the hit and run is a police officer. And when that police officer is then saved by this like near-death experience, that police officer then also starts to have premonition dreams. And so all three of these people now have these premonition dreams of people dying. And so it's a really interesting kind of like triangle situation going on. There is no love triangle in this one, even though they're both in love with her. There is like the police officer guy is like really nice and like lets them kind of like have their romance. It is so amazing, but it is also like so bone chilling to watch. Like, it is so crazy. It's just absolutely amazing. I would 10 out of 10 recommend this. It has quickly become one of my all-time favorites, like definitely like one of my top 5 that I have ever watched in my entire life. And so I do want to recommend it and put it on this list as one of my top dramas of 2022, because I know that when I finish it, that's going to be the case. Those are my top 7 dramas that I have watched in 2022. Please let me know down below what some of your favorite dramas are, so I can probably check them out and see them in 2023. And without further ado, if you enjoyed this video, please like it down below. If you want to see more of me, please go to my channel, and don't forget to check me out over on Instagram and on TikTok. And until next time, thanks so much everyone. Bye bye.